Hi, Dr. Gilbert here and flying solo today. Shout out to my sidekick, Rachel Mattheos, who flew solo last week. And anyway, I was just remembering that I missed last week, and so in the notes it says something about chapter 4. We're talking through Michael Pollan's book, Food Rules, and I forgot. Well, I mean, not chapter 4, chapter 5. And I forgot that I wasn't here last week. So it's not chapter 5. We're on chapter 6. So Rachel did a great job with chapter 5 last week. And we are moving on to chapter 6 in Michael Pollan's Food Rules. And I'm just going to read it. It says, avoid food products that contain more than 5 ingredients. And first of all, I want to say that I really appreciate that he says food products because it implies that there has been some processing in the product. So anything that's probably in a package that's a product has been processed. So we're trying to get to the least processed foods. Now, sometimes we are going to be buying processed foods, food products. I buy them. We all buy them. But his point today, in today's chapter, is to avoid food products that contain more than 5 ingredients. And why would that be? Well, when you get to more than 5, chances are now they're chemicals. Now they're additives. Now they are things to improve the shelf life of the product. And if it stays on the shelf longer, that may not be doing something good in your body. So avoid food products. And then I like that he made the point, okay, there are some food products now that are coming out. Oh, we only have 5 ingredients. Well, okay, but number 1 was sugar. So, and he reminds us to treat treats as treats. So I had a couple of products here that I was going to look at. So more important than saying, this one says, actually there's a non-GMO label on here. So a lot of times packages will put all kinds of stamps and labels, say, I'm great for you, choose me. But we really want to go to the nutrition label. And in addition to the nutrition label, read from the ingredient list. So according to the ingredient list here, there's red lentil flour and organic quinoa flour. So 2 ingredients in this packaged food, in this food product. So that passes a test. You know what? Another test that I'd like to bring out, I do the carb fiber ratio. Carbs are broken down into sugars in your body. But if there's plenty of fiber with that process is slower. The uptake into your blood sugar is slower. And there's less impact on insulin levels and things like that. So, which is better for your metabolic health. So I want to make sure there's plenty of fiber in the food and the packaged food that I buy. So I do a little calculation. I look at the total carbs per serving size. And in here, it's 35 grams in a serving. And then I divide, I don't subtract out, but I divide by the grams of dietary fiber. So this one says 35 grams and then divided by 7 grams of fiber. 35 divided by 7 is 5. I can do that math. And I try to keep that ratio 6 or less. So 5 is less than 6. So this passes my carb fiber ratio test as far as that this would be I'll call it a slow carb or, a complex carb that's going to be less impactful on my insulin. So this has only 2 ingredients. and the carb fiber ratio passes my test. So that's great. Let's look at another one of these things. I'm going to slide it back here. Let's see. This one says that it's naturally flavored and triple chocolate. Yum. So I'm trying to get my treats with less, less impact on my health. But we have to do diligence and go to the food label and look at that ingredient list. I mean, just lots of ingredients there. So that's more than 5. So that wouldn't pass Michael Pollan food rules. Let's see how it does with the carb fiber ratio. Well, this says 1 serving has 23 grams of carbohydrate and 6 grams of fiber. That's quite a bit, probably because they added it in there. The chicory root extract is what they added in. So 23 divided by 6 is almost 4. So that passes the test there, but then it fails the more than 5 ingredients. So yeah, there's a lot of, well, there's dried egg white, there's natural flavor, whatever that means. And we can talk a little bit more about that. Modified cornstarch, lecithin, different kind of gums in there, blah, blah, blah. So this may not be the best choice if I'm really trying to get away from processed food. So let's look at this one. This one says, oh, the American Heart Association said it was okay. It must be okay for me. Well, I'm going to do my own investigation and look at the label. So the ingredient list says whole wheat kernels, 1, 2, whole flaxseed, there's salt, and there's barley malt. Now, what's barley malt? I think last week, did we learn that barley malt was another little bit of kind of a sugar? But not very much. So that was not in the top 3 ingredients. So that passes 1 test. It has less than 5 ingredients, so that passes another test. And then let's see if it passes my carb fiber ratio test. So it has 37 grams of carbohydrate in 3/4 of a cup. That's the other thing we have to make sure. Are we just going to eat 1 serving of this? And it has 10 grams of fiber. 37 divided by 10, 3.7. Bada bing, bada boom, passes the carb fiber ratio test. There you go. So now we're not talking about what makes a complete meal here, but we're talking about some very important things when you do choose food from package or food product. You want to make sure, what we're going to review last week, that sugar isn't among the top 3 ingredients. Number 2, that it has less than 5 ingredients total, because otherwise it's going to add chemicals and things that extend the shelf life and may not be the best for my body or yours. And number 3, that it passes that carb fiber ratio test. And I know that can get a little complicated, but those are the kind of things we teach about here at Oregon Weight and Wellness. I want to also remind you that, we don't have to be 100% all the time. My birthday was yesterday, so I enjoyed birthday treats and treats that aren't usually on my menu, but I'm back on my regular menu today. And so you don't have to be 100% all the time. It really depends on your goals, whether you're trying to maintain your weight or lose weight. We take all those kinds of things into consideration, and you are not like the person next to you, and you really can't compare yourself because everybody is different. And so we treat people individually at Oregon Weight and Wellness. Give us a call, and we'll be happy to talk to you about these kinds of things and help you to learn about your body and become your best expert in you, so that you will have improved health and wellness. So, all right, we learned a little bit more about food products and what to look for in food nutrition labels. So until next time, I'm Dr. Julie Gilbert, at Oregon Weight and Wellness. Thank you.